Welcome back to the channel, people. I hope everybody's well. Today I have a pretty interesting story from the verifier regarding iOS 15 compatibility. Yes, which iPhones will get to iOS 15? That is the question everybody's asking. That's the question on everybody's mind, and we'll be delving into that, and there is some pretty bad news regarding that. But before we get into that, make sure to like and subscribe, click that bell notification. And with that being said, let's just tuck in. Now, the verifier isn't the most credible source in the world. They have an accuracy of 50% according to Apple Track, so yeah, they're quite middling. But if there's one thing they nail, it's support lists. I have no idea how they obtain this information, but when it comes to iOS support lists, they are the people to go to, and they have given us some information regarding which devices will be supported with iOS 15. And I have some pretty bad news, people, because the beloved iPhone SE, the first generation iPhone SE, and the iPhone 6s, yeah, they're being killed. Now, on the surface, this does make a lot of sense because these are pretty old smartphones. The 6S came out in 2015 and the SE came out in 2016. So yeah, respectively, they're 4 to 5 years old now, and yeah, it's time to say goodbye. Except it's not. I don't think it is. You know, I think there is a chance they might be supported for another year, and it's because of one other product in the lineup. And that is the iPad 5. The iPad 5th generation, the first ever budget iPad, as it's commonly referred to nowadays. This is the product I have a little bit of an issue with. So this has the same identical hardware as the iPhone 6s and the SE. So you get an A9 chip and 2GB of RAM. And since it came out in 2017, I don't think Apple will prematurely kill that product off so soon, since Apple kind of promises support for at least 4 or 5 years. And so if they're going to support this iPad, why not support the iPhone 6s and the SE? Because if they have the same hardware, then they should also be capable of running the latest version, right? I mean, I have an SE and an iPad 5. My mom uses an iPad 5 and it works absolutely brilliantly on iPad OS 14. And so I don't see a big reason as to why these can't be supported for another year. I don't think we'll be seeing a huge update with iOS 15, especially since iOS 14 was so big in itself. So yeah, I don't think there's a huge reason as to why Apple should kill them off. Now, of course, there are going to be some clever people at the back wondering, hey Saran, by that logic, why isn't the iPhone 6 still getting support? Because the iPad Mini 4 and the iPad Air 2, which both have the A8 chip or variation of the A8 chip, still get support till this day. So answer me, why does the iPhone 6 not have support? Well, in a nutshell, it comes down to RAM. Now, RAM is by far the biggest bottleneck when it comes to software support, and the iPhone 6 having only a gig of RAM meant that it just couldn't run iOS 13 and 14 to a level that Apple wanted it to be. But those iPads I mentioned earlier, the iPad Mini 4 and the iPad Air 2, those iPads have 2GB of RAM, and so that's pretty much the minimum Apple needs for iOS nowadays, and that's probably why they still get supported till this day. And this goes to show that Apple's chips are just never the bottleneck when it comes to software support, because as you can see, the iPad Mini 4 with an A8 chip can run iOS 14 perfectly fine with the right amount of RAM. So again, RAM is the bottleneck, but not the chip. And so, because the iPhone SE and the iPhone 6s have 2GB of RAM, I do think it's feasible that they can run iOS 15. Especially since the iPhone 7 and the iPhone 8, which are mentioned in this iOS 15 support list, have 2GB of RAM. And so, I definitely do think it's possible these iPhones could have iOS 15. Of course, I am aware that planned obsolescence is a thing, and Apple will take advantage of it whenever possible because they want you to upgrade to the latest iPhone. And so, if you're hanging on to your iPhone 6s for dear life, I do think Apple's going to take advantage of that and just kill support prematurely, even though they have the hardware that's capable of running iOS 15. I will continue to hold on to a small glimpse of hope that Timothy won't let me down and will continue to support these devices, but the more I think about it, the more likely it seems that it will happen. It is a bummer, I guess, but at the same time, Android phones just cannot match iPhones in terms of software support, so 5 years of software support with the iPhone 6s, That's incredible, and that's more than anybody could ask for. And I do think this year, as an iPhone 6s and SE user, you have plenty of upgrade options in the form of the iPhone 12 mini, which is obviously a very small iPhone. It's the first ever small iPhone we've had in a while. And of course the iPhone SE, which is this iPhone 6s form factor at a very, very affordable price. So yeah, definitely plenty of very great upgrades. It will be very interesting to see what Apple does with these budget iPads, because remember, up until September, Apple was selling a budget iPad with an A10 chip. That's a chip we saw in the iPhone 7, so it'll be really interesting to see how long they support that. Technically, it should be 4 to 5 years, but by 2025, well, I don't think the A10 will be capable of running iOS, so we'll have to see, and yeah, hopefully it won't be too much of an issue. Oh, also, very important information, I have to mention this, but for the 4 people at the back there using the iPod Touch, you will get iOS 15, so that is very good news. Anyways, on that note, I'm going to end it here. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, click that bell notification, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya, peeps.